And we are live in Beverly Hills, California, where there are swimming pools, movie stars, and big-time boxing. We are coming to you live from inside the Beverly Hills Hotel, where we have a major event today. Canelo Álvarez makes his return against Jaime Munguia May 4th, and we are here for the Kickoff press conference live on DAZN. I'm Chris Mannix, joined by Claudia Treos and Sergio Mora. Two of us got the memo about wearing leather. One of us did not. So, guys, I'm glad to be here with both of you. You can see, Sergio, major event. Whenever Canelo Álvarez fights, it's always a big-time event. Even the press conferences are big. This is quite the scene here today.
I love it. I've been to Beverly Hills several times. The first time I see mariachi in Beverly Hills. I mean, it's great, the food, the music, and once that man comes here, everyone's here to see why the red carpet is here. And Canelo Álvarez does it bigger than everybody.
Claudia, does this feel like a big-time event?
Absolutely, it feels like a huge event. Let's not forget, he hasn't fought another Mexican since he destroyed Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And one thing he promised, actually they both promised this afternoon, we're going to have an extraordinary fight.
No question about that. Is Canelo against Jaime Munguia. And Sergio, Canelo Álvarez coming off a win over Jermell Charlo. A disappointing fight only because Jermell Charlo didn't seem to come to fight. What did you take away when it came to Canelo Álvarez in that fight?
Well, look, I'm a critic. I'm going to tell you exactly what I see. I've started seeing slowdown in Canelo with Golovkin in the third fight. In the third fight, I expected a knockout. He wasn't able to get the stoppages, like he has in the past. In his last four fights, they've gone the distance. So we want to see Canelo of old. We want to see the combinations, the explosion, the offensive Canelo that we've been seeing. We're going to see with Munguia. This is a good old-fashioned Mexican showdown. Munguia doesn't know any other way but to go forward and attack. Canelo, he can attack, but he can also be on the back foot and box, use his head movement. They both take a big punch. They both give a big punch. I mean, may the best man win. We're going to get a knockout, I'll tell you that, Chris.
Claudia, Sergio's calling for the Canelo of old. Is that fighter still inside of him?
Of course it is. It's inside of him. Is it going to come out? That's a completely different question. But the one thing that I want to know is what kind of chin Munguia is going to bring, what kind of power is Canelo going to inflict upon Munguia, and what adjustments are both fighters going to do? Because let's not forget, besides the power on Munguia, which is obvious, the youth, the output, the amount of punches per round that he throws is very close to maximum at 168.
Sergio, Munguia is coming off the biggest win of his career, a decisive win, a knockout win over John Ryder. John Ryder was someone that Canelo went the distance with. Do you think that has made Munguia more prepared for this type of opponent?
Absolutely. I mean, in confidence in the fact that he was able to stop someone that a superstar couldn't stop. That's why we're here. That's why we're promoting this fight. If Munguia would have struggled with John Ryder, you can bet he wouldn't have got this ticket, the golden ticket, and that's Canelo. So he did that. He did it on the big stage. He did it in fantastic fashion. He had Ryder down multiple times. That's exactly what you needed to do. Canelo didn't do it. Munguia did it. Hey, that's why we're here.
Claudia, everyone was talking about the growth in Munguia after that last fight. It was his first fight training under Freddie Roach. He was phenomenal working under Eric Morales, but have you seen some growth from that one fight, working with Freddie at that time?
Well, the one thing we saw the most was his defense. It was up to par. His footwork was a lot sharper than we had ever seen before. But more than that, he was keen at listening to the instructions coming from the corner. As a matter of fact, when we spoke earlier today, he said there was a point where Freddie actually yelled at me and called him names that I'm not supposed to call right now. But that called his attention. That had not happened before. For him to be able to be keen on instructions and follow through, that was implemented against John Ryder.
Do you think Munguia is a better fighter now than he was, say, 2 or 3 years ago?
We see flashes of it. Every time he changes trainers from Eric Morales to Freddie Roach, who is a trainer of, we see flashes of it, but then he goes back to what he is. You are what you are. It's all character, and it comes out when the going gets tough, you're going to resort to what you were. So Munguia is who he is. He's not going to change. He's a young, strong champion that comes well prepared, tries to follow a game plan, but in the end, the Mexican bravado comes out, and it's who can take a bigger punch, and Munguia's been winning that battle.
Claudia, you mentioned the chin of Jaime Munguia, and there's no question it's going to get tested in this fight by Canelo Álvarez, because even if he's not the combination puncher he once was, he is still a thudding puncher. Do you still see that same power in Canelo?
Oh, of course. As a matter of fact, you ask Charlo, ask Bivol, One of the things that people never got a chance to see was the bruising and how bad his left arm was. Bivol was actually handicapped for a couple months after that fight. He took the win decisively, no questions asked, but he took the punishment for that win. He did not sell that win cheaply. And let me tell you, Canelo might be 33, he might be battle tested, he might have a lot of rounds, but the one thing he does have is experience. He's been in this level of shows for the last 13 years of his life.
Sergio, can Munguia fight the way he's fought his recent fights against Canelo? Because it's one thing to come in kamikaze style against Sergey Derevyanchenko and John Ryder. It's quite another to come in with someone with the kind of punching power of Canelo Alvarez.
How do you say kamikaze in Spanish?
Kamikaze?
Kamikaze. But,
just change the accent.
Kamikaze? No, I don't think we do. I don't think he can. I just think he is who he is. He's not going to be able to change. Like I said, he'll adapt for a round or two, but Canelo's going to force him to be someone that he always has been. Canelo's going to fight his style, but look, he could be defensive, Canelo. He could be offensive. Once he gets the head movement, it's hard to hit him with a clean shot. And if you do land a clean shot, he takes just as big a punch as Jaime Munguia. The only difference is Canelo has been doing it on the championship level year after year after year for the last decade. Munguia hasn't even fought one champion since winning a championship against Saddam Ali at 154. That's the knock on Jaime Munguia. But look, he's here. They promoted him. He got the golden ticket. They matchmake them brilliantly. Now it's time for him to cash out. If he can cash out with a win, we got a new Mexican superstar.
All right, so let me ask you, Claudia, you mentioned Mexico versus Mexico.
Yes.
How big a deal is that for people like me, Americans? How big a deal is it to see the biggest star right now in Mexican boxing go up against someone you could probably call the people's champion of Mexican boxing?
Chris, I know you don't consider yourself Mexican, but you're almost there.
Honorary?
Yes, you are. You're almost there because you've celebrated Cinco de Mayo in September.
Every white guy does.
Yes. Yeah, thank God.
Yeah.
So moving right along, is this big? This is ginormous. Why? Forget about the X's, the O's, the defense, the offense. We know for a fact that we're going to have two guys going at it. We're not going to have to wait for some guy to catch up with another guy that's going to be running. We have two very well-tested fighters that come to the center of the ring and throw punches. That's what makes boxing great. Be it that you're Mexican or not, if we're using this fight to celebrate La Batalla de Puebla, so be it, and we're going to have everything exploding on that day.
Sergio, I've got a hot take for you. I don't think that Canelo can win a decision in this fight. Because if this fight goes the distance, if it goes all 12 rounds, based on what we've seen, the volume punching significantly favors Jaime Munguia. So if Munguia can hold up to Canelo's counter punching, his body punching, his arm punching, I think he's got a great chance to win a decision here.
I think you're wrong.
Okay.
Simple.
Good talk.
I just think you're wrong because Canelo he's been through this fire before and he's been able to adapt. He's been through it. Munguia, on the other hand, he's survived. He's been able to survive when he's been hurt and rocked before. And he's been rocked by guys that are not on the championship level. I'm going to keep repeating myself here. He's done it against title challengers, top contenders, solid fighters, but not Canelo, not pound for pound ability. Canelo's been doing it against every single person they put in front of him that's pound for pound status, and he's passed the test with flying colors. That's going to be the difference, like Claudia said, experience.
Claudia, you want to break the tie here?
I agree and I disagree because there's always that faith on that one guy. There's a lot of naysayers and haters out there that are thinking that Canelo shouldn't even be fighting somebody like Jaime Munguia, that he should be fighting Benavidez. We've said this 1,000 times. So there's a lot of haters out there. But Canelo has been in that spot 1,000,000 times. He's already gone through the Austin Trouts, the Miguel Cottos, the Floyd Mayweathers. He knows what it takes to fill, what we say in Spanish, llenarle el ojo al juez. What does that mean? To fill the judge's eye. He knows what it takes. Now, are there haters out there that are going to say, he's not doing enough? Probably. But does he know what it takes to take that win? Absolutely. All
right, well, May 4th, Jaime Munguia coming up. May 4th live on DAZN pay-per-view. The press conference is right around the corner, but there's a lot more boxing coming up here on DAZN in the days and weeks ahead. Of course, Canelo Álvarez, May 4th live.
I know why you're here.
Pay-per-view.
You're a born winner, the top dog. You have a proper punch on you. It only takes one, eh? But I know you're not all about throwing haymakers. You know your bobs from your weaves, and you know the zone's got over 100 live events every year. Over 100. Proper stat. All the action, the chaos, the comebacks, the non-stop knockout. Big fights every week. So get those gloves back on. Together, we're boxing royalty. The Zone, undisputed.
Well, Sergio, we got a lot of big fights coming up on DAZN, but this, of course, is clearly the biggest one. When you think of the odds for this fight, how close should they be?
I think they should be in favor of Canelo, 3-1. I think that is pretty good. Munguia has the youth, the size. He could take a big punch, so he's gonna last some rounds. But this is gonna be a good old Mexican standoff. I don't think it goes the distance. Both men can hurt each other, but I'm gonna favor Canelo.
Claudia, how big an upset would this be if Jaime Munguia can knock off Canelo Álvarez?
Where should I start? This is totally, it would be earth-shattering. Again, we've been there before. Mayweather did it to Canelo. We were all expecting that type of fight, never of that dimension of overpowering some young man. But Canelo has been there. He's already lived it. So if somebody with this experience can be overcome and defeated, we're talking huge upset.
See, Sergio, I don't agree. Look.
What?
Look, I have all the respect in the world for Canelo Álvarez and what he's done. And I favor him to win this fight by knockout. That would be my official prediction. But the Jaime Munguia I've seen, the guy that throws 6, 7, 8 punch combinations, the guy that can outwork you all the way through the 12th round of a fight, that's a guy that I think has a better than puncher's chance to win. I don't think Jaime is going to stop Canelo Álvarez because he's got one of the great chins in all of boxing. But do I think he can out-volume him? Do I think he can win a decision? Absolutely.
He didn't out-volume Derevyanchenko. They were going tit for tat. I mean, it was just both of them. They were both landing and throwing just as much. You think Canelo's going to get hit as much as Derevyanchenko? Derevyanchenko almost knocked out Jaime Munguia. I mean, John Ryder rocked him a couple of times, even though Munguia, dominated that fight. Canelo is on a different stratosphere. He could take a bigger punch than both those fighters. He's fresher than both those fighters, and he has way more experience on the championship level. He knows how to cut off the ring. He knows how to make guys miss and make them pay. Fight on the inside, those body shots. The explosiveness is too much on Canelo's part, and the experience, of course. That's why everyone has to favor Canelo in this fight.
Well, he is favorite, but I'm gonna interject here.
Feel free.
The one thing that is amazing was how Munguia showed up so calm, cool, and collected. Despite being the younger, hungrier fighter with less experience at this level, that calmness does call my attention, because when we saw that same foot in Canelo's situation when he was fighting Floyd, it was a completely different dynamics. You guys are too young to even remember that, but I was there. And there was this fluttering, there was this tension in Canelo's corner. I don't see that in Munguia. And with that being said, I think the most important weapon that Munguia has here is that voice in his ear called Freddie Roach, who has seen many, many champions in his lifetime.
Sergio, then what is the path to victory for Jaime Munguia? If you don't think, look, he can't stop him. I think we both all agree on that. If he can't stop him, what is that path to victory?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because if we see Munguia on the back foot being pushed early in this fight, he gets knocked out earlier. He needs to be on the front foot. He needs to be the Mexican bull. He needs to have Canelo on the back foot, which we've seen Canelo on the back foot. So that's exactly Munguia's fight. Push him back, aim for the body, don't aim for the head, build the points, try to win rounds, get out of the early rounds without getting hit with speed. That's how Munguia wins, on points. He doesn't knock out Canelo.
All right, we're going to find out May 4th. Right now, we're going to go upstairs to Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Pound great Canelo Álvarez defending his undisputed super middleweight world championship against the challenger, the hard-hitting, undefeated former world champion and current top-rated Jaime Munguia. This 12-round clash of Mexican superstars headlines a PBC pay-per-view event on Prime Video taking place Saturday, May 4th in Las Vegas, Nevada at the T-Mobile Arena. Now, in addition to this pay-per-view being available for purchase on Prime Video, regardless of Prime membership, fans will be able to purchase the pay-per-view via DAZN.com, and on top of that, fans will be able to continue to access the telecast through traditional cable and satellite services, as well as pay-per-view Well, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let us introduce our fighters as they make their way to the stage. Following them will be the team. Introducing first the challenger, trained by Hall of Famer Freddie Roach, 27 years old, hailing out of and proudly representing his home of Tijuana, Baja California, Mexico. Undefeated in his campaign, 43-0 with 34 knockouts, 6-0 as a middleweight, also undefeated as super middleweight. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former WBO 154-pound champion of the world and the challenger, the current undefeated WBC and WBO #1 super middleweight in the world. Here is Jaime Munguia. And now, ladies, check. And now, ladies and gentlemen, his opponent, trained by Eddie Reynoso. He's the fighting pride of Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. Really needing no introduction the world over. He is a future Hall of Famer, making his 25th appearance in a world title fight. With a record of 60 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 of his wins have come by way of knockout. He's the 4-division world champion, boxing first and only, undisputed super middleweight champion of the world, el orgulloso guerrero de Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, the one and only Saul Canelo Álvarez. And we invite the rest of the prospective teams to the stage at this time, taking their seats. Honored to have them all with us here for our official announcement, official press conference. Hall of Famers up front here, future Hall of Famers as well. First, I want to introduce and recognize on the stage, representing Premier Boxing Champions, Louis de Cubas Jr., and also representing TGB Promotions. For opening comments, please welcome the president of TGB Promotions, Tom Brown.
Well, thank you, Jimmy. Good afternoon. Welcome, everyone. This really is a very special event. As Jimmy said, it's going to be on Cinco de Mayo weekend, and that means a huge fight is happening in Las Vegas. And this all-Mexican showdown will be one of the most anticipated Cinco de Mayo fight in years. The pound-for-pound great, Saul Canelo Álvarez, putting his undisputed 168-pound world titles on the line in a blockbuster event against the hard-punching, undefeated former world champion Jaime Munguia in a clash of Mexican superstars. Now, PBC had a fantastic 2023. It was a legendary year with massive industry-leading pay-per-view events, including one that we co-promoted with Golden Boy Promotions that year. And now, with Amazon's amazing marketing reach, Premier Boxing Champions and TGB Promotions will continue with another historic year, showcasing the biggest stars and the best world-class boxing events in 2024. I want to thank Fernando Beltran, Oscar De La Hoya, and everybody at Golden Boy Promotions. And I also want to personally thank Saul Álvarez, Eddie Reynoso, and Louis de Cubas. This fight only got made because of real men like this. So thank you, and we'll see everyone on May 4th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Also want to recognize on stage one of the world's great promoters, CEO of Zanfer Boxing Promotions, part of Team Munguia, Fernando Beltran.
Good afternoon to everyone. It's a real pleasure being here. This time, because of the type of event, I will start in Spanish. Es un verdadero honor el estar involucrado en este gran evento. Quiero empezar por darle las gracias a Team Canelo y la verdad, platicarles un poco de cómo se dio la pelea. Cuando dos mexicanos se dan la palabra, las cosas pasan y las cosas suceden y se cumplen. Muchas gracias, Eddie. Y la verdad, un agradecimiento muy especial también a Luis de Cuba Jr., quien trabajó muy fuerte porque este combate, porque el 4 de mayo, celebrar el 5 de mayo como mexicanos y que fuera entre mexicanos, es la primera vez que dos mexicanos disputan el indiscutido. La primera vez que dos mexicanos se enfrentan por los 4 cinturones. Y la verdad es un honor que sea en esta fecha y que sea con la cara del boxeo y con el que quiere ser la cara del boxeo y que lógicamente venimos con todo. La verdad, para mí es una pelea que el gran ganador es México. Quiero agradecer muy en especial a todo el equipo de promociones Zanfer por sacar siempre lo mejor de mí, por empujar a que este tipo de eventos sucedan. También quiero agradecer muy en especial, pero muy en especial, a Jaime Munguía, a Golden Boy, por haberme dado la confianza de negociar esta pelea. La verdad me siento muy contento, muy orgulloso y sé que, por último, sé que este 4 de mayo México estará dividido, pero Tijuana bien unido. La verdad, venimos a ganar y vamos a ganar. Que viva Munguia. It's a real pleasure being here. It's an honor to be in this sensational event and form part of this. I would like to thank Canelo team And when two Mexicans give the word to each other, things happen. And thank Eddie again. And also I would like to thank very special to Luis de Cuba for being the facilitator to make this fight happen. And special thanks. I know in this May 4th, the real winner will be Mexico. And honestly, I would like to thank from my heart Jaime Munguía and Oscar de la Hoya and Golden Boy to allow me and to have the confidence in me to make this fight happen. Thank you very much. Que viva Mexico.
Fernando is so correct. This is such an important fight for not only the world, but especially to Mexico. And for that, a little bit later on, we will have a major portion of our press conference that will be conducted in Spanish. So we look forward to that too. Thank you for the Spanish and speaking media who are here especially for that. Now, my honor to introduce to you to make further opening comments, the 6-division world champion, the chairman and CEO of Golden Boy Promotions, Oscar de la Hoya.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. First of all, primeramente quiero felicitar a Jaime Munguía, a Canelo. Gracias, Canelo, por darle la oportunidad a Jaime Munguía. Es bien merecido. Su carrera ha sido una carrera muy brillante, una carrera difícil, complicada, pero estamos aquí y bien merecido. Así que felicidades a Jaime. Canelo Álvarez es la imagen del boxeo actual. Él ha trabajado por muchos años, mucho esfuerzo, mucha disciplina y obviamente se merece lo que está viviendo hoy y ayer y mañana. Yo pienso que el boxeo mexicano va a ganar. El 4 de mayo va a ser algo muy especial. Y quiero hablar un poco de la historia de los boxeadores mexicanos cuando se enfrentan a cada uno. No hay mejor peleas que entre dos mexicanos, dos guerreros enfrentándose por orgullo. Y no por fama, no por dinero, pero orgullo. Ese orgullo mexicano es lo que hace al peleador mexicano, el esfuerzo, el trabajo, pero ese orgullo, ese corazón que van a demostrar el 4 de mayo va a ser muy especial. Y me felicita me pongo muy feliz porque el país de México va a estar en alto por todo el mundo y estos dos campeones van a estar al frente demostrándole al mundo que el boxeo mexicano es el mejor boxeo del mundo. First of all, thank you very much to Canelo, to Munguia. What a great surprise, what a great treat they are giving us on the 4th of May. And I want to touch a bit on the history of Mexican boxing. When you have two Mexican fighters at this elite level, like Canelo, like Munguia, we're in for a special treat. It's been a while, I believe, since Canelo fought Julio Cesar Chavez, but this is different. We have a Munguia who's an ex-world champion. We have a Munguia who's undefeated, who's young, who's hungry, who's strong, who's coming with everything. But I do want to emphasize on Mexican boxing and how special it is when you have two fighters from Mexico in the ring. And what makes me most proud is the world will be watching literally. Thanks to Amazon, thanks to the Zone. Most importantly, I want to thank Fernando Beltran. I want to thank my partner, Bernard Hopkins, especially Jaime Munguia for having the confidence to lead his way, to lead his charge, to lead his career to where it is now. So thank you very much, guys. We will see you the 4th of May. Gracias.
Thank you, Oscar. Now my pleasure to introduce to you another Hall of Famer, a trainer of Jaime Munguia, the one and only Freddie Roach.
It doesn't get any bigger than this. This is the biggest fight in the world right now. Two of the best fighters in the world, and I'm in charge of getting one of them ready, and we're doing a good job. He's a tremendous work ethic is great, and we're going to do everything we can to take the title. Thank you.
Thank you, Freddie. And now his counterpart, Canelo's longtime manager and trainer, one of the best in the business, and a future Hall of Famer, Eddie Reynoso.
Buenas tardes a todos los que están aquí presentes. Antes que nada, agradecido también con la gente del team de Jaime Munguía que se realizó esta pelea, que no son fáciles de concretarse, pero como dijo Fernando, cuando dos mexicanos dan la palabra, creo que las cosas suceden.
We go? Okay, there we go. All right, so, so I would like to thank Team Munguia for making this happen. Like Fernando said, this isn't easy to do, but we were able to do it, and I'm appreciative of everything that's been done to bring us all here.
Siempre que se enfrentan dos mexicanos en el boxeo, por historia son guerras. Creo que 4 cinturones van a incitar todavía más a que sea una pelea más fuerte. Podemos nombrar muchísimas peleas entre mexicanos por campeonatos que han sido muy buenas. Esta creo que es una de las más especiales, la primera vez que dos mexicanos disputan las 4 fajas mundiales.
And you know, anytime that two Mexican fighters face each other, you know that it's going to be another fight, another war, and especially now that it's the first time that two Mexican fighters are going to be going at it for all 4 belts.
Un manejador exitoso como es el señor Fernando Beltrán. Por este lado, pues nosotros estamos haciendo también un buen trabajo con Saúl, y este 5 de mayo creo que México se lleva todo, y sobre todo que el boxeo mexicano demostrar que siempre está en el nivel de arriba.
You know, Fernando Beltrán is a great manager, and we're going to do the same here with Saúl. We have been doing the same here with Saúl, and we're going to prove to the world that Mexican boxing is up there among the best in the world.
Y pues no queda otra más que seguir preparándonos. Vamos a hacer lo que sabemos hacer, que es prepararnos a conciencia para tratar de ganar la pelea, y los invitamos ese 5 de mayo porque lo que sí está seguro es que al final el aficionado va a decir ¡Viva México!
We're going to work really hard. We're going to try our best to be really sharp on May 4th, and we invite you all on 5 de Mayo weekend to witness what's going to be a great occasion, a great fight, and we hope that the fans are going to be the true winners of
Y muchas gracias a todos los medios también que están aquí presentes. Buenas tardes.
Thank you all to the media for being here. Good afternoon.
And now it's time to hear from the fighters. No one would compare the styles of these two great warriors. They both have their own styles. They're both warriors, but their own styles that we would not compare. But they do have a number of things in common. Both of them started their careers as young teenagers in their hometown in a 4-round fight in the super lightweight division. Both of them started their careers with 43 wins before a loss occurred. Undefeated, 43 wins in a row. Who would guess that a number of years later they are meeting in Las Vegas, May the 4th? First, handing the microphone over to a gentleman whose adjectives often come up like this. He's young, he's hard-hitting, all action, hungry, undefeated. He's a volume puncher. He's exciting. He's that and more. He's a former world champion. He's currently ranked the #1 contender. Once again, please welcome Jaime Munguia.
¿Qué tal? Bueno, pues primero que nada, muchas gracias a toda la gente que vino a apoyarnos, gracias a todos los medios, gracias a toda la gente que hizo posible pues este encuentro, gracias al equipo de Canelo, al equipo de PBC, a Zanfer, a Golden Boy, a todos los que me han ayudado, ¿no? para estar aquí.
Thank you everybody for coming to cheer us on. Thank you everybody for being here. Such a special evening. Thank you Canelo, thank you PBC, Zanfer, Golden Boy. Thank you to all the media, especially for being here.
Bueno, y pues también quiero agradecer y me da mucho gusto ver a toda mi familia aquí reunida. La verdad que es algo muy especial para mí. La verdad que pues es un gran logro, ¿no? Es un gran logro estar enfrentando pues al peleador más grande de esta época y al peleador mexicano que tiene las 4 fajas. La verdad que estoy contento y estoy muy motivado por esta pelea del 4 de mayo.
I want to thank my family, first of all, also my family for being here. It's great for me to have you all here. I want to thank everybody again, and of course, Canelo, the fighter with the 4 titles. I want to thank him for the opportunity.
Y bueno, decirles a todos que pues nos estamos preparando muy fuerte. Sé que tenemos un gran compromiso enfrente, que pues es el mayor compromiso que he tenido en toda mi carrera, pero me voy a preparar muy fuerte y vamos a buscar esa victoria y tengan por seguro que el 4 de mayo va a ser una gran pelea y vamos a hacer vibrar a México. Muchas gracias. ¡Viva México!
We've been working really hard for this fight. We are getting ready for Canelo. And 4th of May, it's going to be a big fight for everybody. Y que viva México!
Well, it's time to hear from the superstar of boxing who is here with us today on this huge fight. A pound-for-pound great future Hall of Famer, as I mentioned earlier, not really needing any introduction the world over. He's world champion at 154 pounds, 160 pounds, 168 pounds, and 175 pounds. Please welcome the defending undisputed super middleweight champion of the world, Saul Canelo Álvarez.
Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. Gracias a todos los medios, a toda la gente por estar aquí, mi familia, mi equipo, muchas gracias. La verdad que estoy muy contento, orgulloso, siempre he estado orgulloso de cualquier mexicano, ya sea de la música, del deporte. Estoy muy orgulloso de Jaime Munguía, todo lo que ha logrado, siempre ha tenido mi apoyo y siempre lo va a tener. Hoy nos toca enfrentarnos, lo cual me pone muy orgulloso porque en una fecha tan importante para México, 2 mexicanos que estén acaparando el boxeo a nivel mundial, eso me enorgullece mucho. Y el 4 de mayo voy a entregar todo como siempre lo he hecho. Sé que tengo un rival fuerte, que tira muchos golpes, con mucha hambre de triunfar, y eso me pone feliz porque quiere decir que el único que va a ganar es la gente. Una gran pelea para México, para la historia, para los libros de la historia de México. Me siento muy contento, agradecido con Al Jaimon de poder hacer esta pelea posible, con todo el equipo de PBC, de Fernando Beltrán, de Jaime, que estuvieron ahí involucrados siempre, y eso me hizo la pelea más fácil. La verdad que como dijeron, cuando 2 mexicanos se ponen de acuerdo, no hay que batallar mucho. Así que muy contento de que 2 mexicanos estén acaparando los ojos de todo el mundo en una pelea tan importante, la primera en la historia de entre 2 mexicanos en pelear una pelea de indiscutidos. Así que contento, con mucha motivación, y el 4 de mayo van a ver una gran pelea y México va a ganar. ¡Viva México, cabrones!
All right, so Canelo was saying that this is a great source of pride for him because it's Mexico all over, and his pride in Munguia to be able to come all the way that he has. His pride in his country that it's being featured the way he is, the way it is. And also I wanna say that Al Jaimon, PBC, Fernando Beltrán, I'm really thankful with them for being able to make that happen, because this fight, as we said, when 2 Mexicans sit down and they talk, then it's not hard to make it happen. So the fans are going to be the greatest winners of Saturday night on May 4th, and we invite you all to enjoy what's going to be a great party and a great source of Mexican pride for everybody.
Thank you, Martin. Excellent job. Buen trabajo, sí. I have a few questions for the fighters. First, Jaime, I want to take you back to you're 17 years old. You just turned pro. You had a knockout win, round number 2 of a 4-round fight. And at that time, Canelo was already an undefeated world champion, a superstar of boxing. What were you feeling when this fight was made, and what did you think of Canelo back when you were just turning pro?
Cuando tenías 17 años, tu primer pelea de 4 rounds, tú ganaste en el segundo round. En ese entonces Canelo ya era un joven veterano que empezaba a hacer cosas grandes. ¿Qué pensabas en ese momento cuando veías a él y dónde te veías tú?
Bueno, yo la verdad siempre, pues cuando yo empezaba yo veía a Canelo pues peleando por campeonatos del mundo, haciendo grandes peleas y la verdad siempre pues era una motivación para mí, ¿no? Ver todo lo que podías lograr en el boxeo y la verdad pues como lo dije fue una motivación y algo que me dio para seguir trabajando, para seguir creciendo y pues ahora estamos aquí. Estoy muy contento y muy orgulloso.
He has always been a source of pride and motivation for me. When I was coming up and I used to see him fight, I said, that's a good guy, and I want to be like him. And today we have a chance to face him, and hopefully we get to be like him one day.
Jaime, congratulations on your impressive win over John Ryder. Under your trainer, Freddie Roach, you looked very good in that fight. You knocked him out, an opponent that went the distance with Canelo. How important is that to your confidence in this fight, the biggest fight of your career?
Felicidades por tu más reciente victoria ante John Ryder. Tú lo noqueaste, Canelo fue a la distancia. ¿Qué tan importante es para ti eso, que tú lo noqueaste y él fue a la distancia viendo esta pelea?
Bueno, yo creo que pues fueron 2 peleas totalmente diferentes, obviamente, pero pues yo creo que pues con la pelea que hizo Canelo con John Ryder, yo creo que nosotros alcanzamos a ver las debilidades de Ryder, vimos por dónde llegarle y obviamente llegó una buena derecha en el segundo round y pues después de ahí empezamos a hacer una buena pelea, ¿no? Pero pues esas 2, la pelea de él y la pelea de Canelo con Ryder y la mía con él, pues no tienen nada que ver.
2 completely different fights. In the second round, we noticed weaknesses for him, and we took a punch, and it hurt him. With, like I said before, 2 completely different fights has nothing to do with what we're going to do coming up.
So Jaime, tell us, what has Freddie Roach brought to the table, to your training? How have you improved as a fighter under Freddie Roach?
Con Freddie Roach en tu esquina, ¿cómo te ha ayudado a ser un mejor boxeador?
Bien, muy bien. La verdad que pues me siento muy bien entrenando con Freddy. La verdad, pues a pesar de que nos aporta mucho en lo boxístico, nos da una gran tranquilidad. Sé que es una gran persona, es un gran entrenador y pues sobre todo es una persona muy disciplinada y con hambre de seguir ganando.
Great, it's great. Not only is he a great trainer talking about boxing, but he's also a good person, a nice person, a kind person, and he's also motivating us. He's always motivating us to keep on going forward and to keep training hard.
It has been said that your entire career has been made for this moment. A mega fight, pay-per-view fight. You are undefeated. You've done everything asked of you so far in your career. This is a dream come true, this mega fight. Are you ready to prepare for this huge fight, something you have never faced before?
Se ha dicho que tu carrera está hecha para una gran pelea. Y esa gran pelea, esa mega pelea, viene enfrente de ti. ¿Estás listo para lo que pueda suceder después de esta pelea?
Así es, la verdad que vamos a entregarlo todo, vamos a prepararnos muy bien y como ya lo dije, vamos a entregarlo todo arriba del ring, vamos a hacer una gran pelea y pues esa noche vamos a hacer historia.
Yes, we're ready. Like I said before, we are ready for everything and we're going to give it all on the ring. And like I said before, we are going to have a great fight that night.
Thank you, Jaime Munguia. My next question is for Canelo. In your 3rd defense of your title, congratulations on your dominant win over Jamel Charlo. You are the only fighter in the world in the four-belt era who has defended his title, undisputed title, 3 times. May 4th will be 4 times. What does it mean to you to defend all 4 of your world title belts?
No, significa mucho para mí porque vine al boxeo y estoy en el boxeo para hacer historia y eso me hace hacer historia, el único peleador en la historia, y eso es lo que busco. Al final de cuentas, toda mi carrera he buscado y estoy buscando hacer una historia grande y eso es una prueba de lo que lo estoy haciendo.
This is all about making history. I want my legacy to be about making the greatest history possible. That's what, pushes me forward. That's what motivates me. And that's what I want to continue doing, defending my belts and bringing great fights to the fan base.
Both promoters, a number of people have brought up the importance of a great Mexican fighter versus another great Mexican fighter. What was your motivation in seeking out a fellow Mexican opponent for the Cinco de Mayo showdown?
Pues siempre había dicho ya desde hace mucho tiempo que no quería pelear con mexicanos porque obviamente represento a México y así me siento, pero creo que un peleador como Munguia, respetuoso, que se ha ganado con disciplina, con peleas, la posición de estar aquí y qué más que peleando los 4 cinturones, creo que es la pelea perfecta para la gente de México y que la disfrute.
I know I had said that I wouldn't fight against another Mexican fighter, but someone respectful like Munguia, who earned this chance fight after fight, giving it his all, it's something that I'm glad that we were able to make happen, and I hope that everybody can see how this is going to be great for everybody involved and for Mexico in particular.
Yes, on behalf of the Mexican fans, we are glad you changed your mind also. What have you seen from Munguia that makes you believe that he is the right opponent for you?
No, él es un gran peleador, un peleador que tira muchos golpes, un peleador fuerte, que es disciplinado también y que sé que tiene hambre de triunfo y eso lo va a motivar a dar lo mejor de sí el 4 de mayo y eso me gusta a mí me gustan los retos, que sean buenas peleas, que sean como yo, que quieren dar también todo arriba del cuadrilátero, entregar todo y que la gente lo vea, porque cuando los dos van con esa mentalidad, la gente lo aprecia, lo ve y lo disfruta y eso es lo que me motiva.
Munguia is a disciplined guy that he really hits hard. He can be a power puncher, and I like the challenges. I want to go after fighters that are like me, that are hungry like Munguia is, and that want to give their all inside the ring and give the fans the show that they deserve.
Last question. You have fought so many big fights in the Cinco de Mayo boxing weekend. On May 4th, you defend your title against a proud, formidable Mexican opponent. Describe what the atmosphere will be like at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas.
Va a ser algo diferente, Ya he estado en esa posición antes cuando 2 peleadores mexicanos se enfrentan. Va a ser ahora sí que todo el fin de semana de mexicanos, de bandas en la calle, de norteños, de banderas mexicanas y eso es lo que me motiva y lo que me tiene muy orgulloso porque imagínate 2 mexicanos acaparando a nivel mundial la atención de toda la gente, eso es historia y me siento muy orgulloso de eso.
I am really proud of what is going to be an amazing weekend, full of Mexican pride, full of bands out the streets, the norteños showing their pride, and also just being able to drape the flag all over and being able to show the world what kind of party that the Mexicans can throw both inside and outside the ring. It's going to be amazing, and I can't wait.
Thank you, Canelo Álvarez. Thank you. As I mentioned previously, out of respect for our Spanish-speaking media, and especially for the media from Mexico, and this fight is just so huge for Mexico, we will conduct a portion of our press conference also in Spanish. It is my pleasure to introduce my colleague who will lead us at this time. He's the Director of Business at Azteca Sports, and he is a Box Azteca commentator, Director Empresaria de Azteca Deportes y comentarista Box Azteca. Please welcome Rodolfo Vargas.
Thank you, Jimmy. Muy buenas tardes y para mí es un privilegio poderme presentar ante todos ustedes. He tenido la oportunidad de conocer a estos dos grandes atletas mexicanos prácticamente desde que eran unos niños y he visto cómo a base de esfuerzo, de trabajo, de disciplina han alcanzado la cumbre de este gran deporte. El boxeo para nuestro país, para cualquier rincón de nuestra gran república, no solamente es un motivo de orgullo, es un deporte que genera una inspiración y esta inspiración baña a todos los niños, a todos los jóvenes que en algún momento, al ver a estos hombres tan entregados, sueñan con la gloria deportiva y también con marcar una diferencia en sus vidas y marcar una diferencia para su entorno familiar, para sus amigos. Es por eso que celebro que dos atletas de esta dimensión se enfrenten este próximo 4 de mayo en Las Vegas, Nevada, en el marco de esta gran celebración que es el 5 de mayo, la más importante para todos nuestros paisanos aquí en los Estados Unidos, que también han venido a este país y que también han venido a cumplir un sueño americano. Es realmente motivo de orgullo como medio de comunicación el poder llevar todo esto a nuestro querido México, que dos hombres hechos y derechos entregados, que buscan la gloria deportiva y que la han conseguido, una vez más, intenten salir con el brazo en alto. Por eso yo les pido un aplauso para el gran Saúl Canelo Álvarez y para Jaime Munguía.
It has been for me a great honor to see these two fighters grow into what they are today. Without a doubt, me coming from Mexico, I have seen them grow into what they are. And this is great for boxing. This is great for Mexicans. This is great for everybody here in the United States. And I know that it's going to be a party. So it is my honor to be here with you guys and to be part of this.
Celebro también que todas las partes involucradas para poder lograr poner esto en escena en Las Vegas se hayan puesto de acuerdo. La verdad que eso es muy importante porque también da la oportunidad a que Saúl Canelo Álvarez y a que Jaime Munguía tengan todavía más éxitos en su carrera deportiva. Eso también es muy importante.
I also celebrate that both parties here got together to celebrate boxing and to see Saúl Canelo Álvarez and Jaime Munguía fight together. This is very important because this is a celebration.
A todos los aquí presentes también, a gente de PBC, a Canelo Team, por supuesto a Golden Boy Promotions, a Zanfer Promotions, a todos ellos que conozco y que he tenido largas pláticas durante toda mi vida como comunicador, pues realmente los abrazo, los felicito y disfrutemos de lo que será ese extraordinario fin de semana para México.
For all the teams up here, PBC, Canelo's team, Golden Boy, Zanfer, I want to congratulate you also. Let's celebrate that weekend because it's going to be a great weekend for Mexico.
Hablar de la historia de enfrentamiento entre mexicanos, pues sacaría una lista que sería interminable, pero no me puedo ir de este escenario sin mencionar algunos de esos grandes combates que se han dado entre mexicanos. Me platicaron, era muy pequeño, cuando se enfrentó Rodolfo Martínez a Rafael Herrera en 3 oportunidades, un gran combate que quizá inició justamente con esta posibilidad de ver esas guerras encarnizadas arriba del cuadrilátero. Por supuesto, la guerra de los Zetas entre Carlos Zárate y el gran Alfonso Zamora, que fuera medallista olímpico, también hay que recordarlo. Y aquellas 3 versiones que también nos regaló Rubén Púas Olivares ante Chucho Castillo, francamente inolvidables. Eran los albores precisamente de estos enfrentamientos entre mexicanos.
Also, we need to talk about the history of these fights amongst Mexicans in these special dates. Martínez Herrera, 3 times. Also, Chucho Zapata and Zamora. Rubén Olivares and Chucho Ortega. I hope I got all of that right.
Bueno, ahí hubo un pequeño desfase en los nombres, pero no hay ningún problema. Aquí los paisanos todos me entendieron, ¿verdad? Perfecto. Y en tiempos más recientes, por supuesto, me tengo que remitir a la historia de un tijuanense, a un hombre que pues no solamente llevó ese odio que trascendía más allá de lo deportivo, pues también abajo del cuadrilátero, lo que sucedió con Eric Terrible Morales y Barrera, que se enfrentaron en 3 oportunidades, también una guerra entre mexicanos. De Julio César Chávez, ¿qué podemos decir de Julio César Chávez? Enfrentamientos que mediáticamente también hicieron historia. Uno de ellos que tuvo en 2 oportunidades una pelea largamente acariciada. Llegaba un joven del este de Los Ángeles a intentar robarle toda esa gloria al gran Julio César Chávez, y ahora lo tenemos aquí a Oscar de la Hoya, precisamente.
Let's also talk about a young Mexican boxer from Tijuana, Mexico, that hatred went beyond the ring. Eric Morales and Marco Antonio Barrera. And of course, we need to talk about Julio Cesar Chavez when he fought not once but twice against a kid from East LA that we have him here, Oscar de la Hoya.
Una de las peleas que quizá no nos dio arriba del cuadrilátero, pero que levantó una gran expectativa y que me hace recordar un poco el respeto que se tienen tanto Saúl como con Jaime, es la que tuvo el propio Julio César Chávez ante José Luis Ramírez. Dos amigos, dos hombres tan cercanos que definitivamente pues tuvieron que enfrentarse al cuadrilátero por estas situaciones de dar la oportunidad a alguien, y en aquel momento también salió con el brazo en alto Julio César Chávez. Ya en tiempos más recientes, desde luego, remitirnos a los 4 combates que tuvo Israel Vázquez contra Rafa Márquez, pues no hay que dejarlos de lado, pero podría continuar enumerando muchas y muchas más peleas entre mexicanos, que por eso en este momento, el día de hoy aquí en Los Ángeles, nos tienen ya al filo de la butaca y estamos expectantes a que llegue esa primera campanada para todo México.
The one fight that really reminds me of this fight between Canelo and Jaime, honor, respect, Julio César Chávez and his great friend, El Zurdo Ramírez. Also, let's not forget about Vázquez and Márquez. That is something that we want to see this May 4th, and hopefully we'll enjoy it.
Muchas gracias. Ya por último, no me quiero quedar con las ganas de preguntarles algo, una sola pregunta, tanto a Jaime como a Saúl Canelo Álvarez. Jaime, has construido tu carrera en base al esfuerzo, a la disciplina. ¿Es el mejor momento de Jaime Munguía, considerando que está invicto, que ya fue campeón del mundo, que viene de derrotar por nocaut a John Ryder? ¿Es el momento más alto en el nivel boxístico de Jaime Munguía, considerando que ahora también estás con Don Freddie Roach?
Jaime, is this your top moment, knowing that you beat John Ryder and now with Freddie Roach? Do you consider yourself this is the top of Jaime Munguía?
Bueno, yo creo que pues estoy empezando pues el mejor momento de mi carrera. Creo que he tenido grandes experiencias ante muy buenos peleadores que me han ayudado a crecer bastante. Entonces, pues yo creo que este es el comienzo.
This is just the beginning of the top of my career. I know in the past I had great opponents, but I believe this is the beginning of the top of the career of Jaime Munguía.
Perfecto. Y Saúl, a ti te preguntaría, ya lo señalaste, comentaste que te gusta representar a México, que por eso no habías dado la oportunidad para un peleador mexicano. ¿Cuál será el sentimiento ya de boxeador arriba del cuadrilátero, dado que Jaime se ha ganado esa oportunidad de estar arriba del cuadrilátero? ¿Cuál es el sentimiento de Saúl Canelo Álvarez para este enfrentamiento, ya arriba del ring?
No, pues obviamente muy emocionado y muy orgulloso, muy contento de poder enfrentar a un mexicano como Jaime Munguía. Sé que va a ser una gran pelea, eso no tengo nada, ni la menor duda. La verdad que me siento muy contento y orgulloso, como lo dije, de Jaime. Me gusta apoyar el talento mexicano, ya sea de cualquier artista, músico, lo que sea, y deportista, y muy orgulloso de Jaime, orgulloso y contento de darle la oportunidad a Jaime Munguía en este escenario tan grande que es el pelear los 4 títulos el 5 de mayo. Creo que va a ser una noche mexicana y me siento muy orgulloso, motivado y muy contento.
Bueno, me despido y finalizo diciendo lo que seguramente todos mis paisanos allá en nuestra tierra quisieran decir. Muchísimas gracias, Jaime. Muchísimas gracias, Saúl, por hacer posible este enfrentamiento. ¡Y que viva México, cabrones!
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rodolfo. This concludes our press conference. You've heard from distinguished speakers letting you know how exciting, how important, how big this fight is. You're not going to want to miss it. Details once again, it's Saturday, May 4th, T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Saúl Canelo Álvarez defense against Jaime Munguía. 12 rounds for the undisputed super middleweight championship of the world. It is a clash of Mexican superstars, a PBC pay-per-view event on Prime Video. Once again, Saturday, May 4th. Fighters are going to be here for photo opportunities. We thank you very much for your attendance on this press conference.
Para atrás a las cámaras.
Well, there you have it. The first press conference. Canelo Álvarez, Jaime Munguia, undisputed super middleweight championship on the line. Both these fighters already looking, Sergio, in close to fight shape. What did you make of their first appearance on stage together?
Respectful, very classy, but they're Mexican. They keep bringing up that two Mexican fighters are going to be headlining a huge event, and both of them Mexicans in a weight class that has normally evaded Mexicans. Too big of a weight class, fighting for all four belts. History in the making, created by two proud Mexicans. It's incredible.
Claudia, this is familiar territory for Canelo Álvarez, but the very first time we've seen Jaime Munguia on this type of stage. What did you think of how he looked up there?
I gotta tell you, I'm highly impressed with the way he's so calm. He's very collected, a lot of respect. But we've seen this before in Munguia, and then we know how that translates once he walks into the ring. He is hungry and he wants those titles, and this is an opportunity he doesn't want to let go of.
Sergio, you've experienced a big press conference for the first time on the contender, fighting for a first world title. Can it be intimidating up there the first time?
For the first time, yes, but then you get used to it. I also had a big fight on pay-per-view with Shane Mosley on Mexican Independence Weekend, and it's as big as it gets. Now the pride comes out. Now the fight has to pan out. The fight has to be everything that it was talked about, that bloody Mexican standoff between two great warriors. We're going to get it here. You didn't get it in my fights, but you're going to get it with Canelo Álvarez and Jaime Munguia, because this is what Mexican boxing is all about.
All right, we're going to get into this fight and much more. A lot of people still to come by here on the pre-show for this press conference for Canelo Álvarez and Jaime Munguia. That is May 4th, live on DAZN pay-per-view, but there is much more action coming up next couple of months, live on DAZN.
Hey champ, I know why you're here. You're a born winner, the top dog. You have a proper punch on you. It only takes one, eh? But I know you're not all about throwing haymakers. You know your bobs from your weaves, and you know DAZN's got over 100 live events every year. Over 100, proper stat. All the action, the chaos, the comebacks, the non-stop knockout. Big fights every week. So get those gloves back on. Together, we're boxing royalty. DAZN, undisputed.
All right, Sergio, we have, what now, 2 months to go before this fight. A little less than 2 months before this fight actually happens. If you are in Jaime Munguia's camp, if you're advising Freddie Roach on how to fight Canelo Álvarez, what is your advice going to be?
No one advises Freddie Roach. Let's get that straight. The man's a legend for a reason. So the hard work is put at Wildcard Gym in Hollywood. I don't need to say anything. Now, the game plan, I might throw a couple of requests there. Avoid the war early. Munguia, we've seen him jab, we've seen him use his size, we've seen him try to box when he was training with Eric Morales. Implement a little bit of that with the aggression that Freddie Roach brings, with the strategy that he brings, with the momentum, with everything else that Freddie Roach is. If you could try to mix a blend of the two, I think that's the best opportunity for Jaime Munguia to do something special and beat a superstar like Canelo.
Claudia, do you think there's any chance that Canelo could be underestimating Munguia coming into this fight? Because, look, we know Munguia is a good fighter, but he's an untested fighter, at least on this type of level. Do you think there's any chance Canelo might underestimate his opponent here?
I've never seen him really underestimate any of his opponents. I don't think this is the exception. As a matter of fact, when we spoke earlier today, one of the things he said, we asked him to use 3 words to describe Munguia. Very good fighter. Then I asked him, how do you describe yourself in 3 words? The best fighter. So he understands that this is a young buck. And he knows that because he was that one time. And going back to what Sergio was saying, I think one of the keys for Canelo, first and foremost, is conditioning. Make sure that Munguia, if he takes him into deep waters, he's going to be able to withstand the output that we've talked about before. And is Munguia going to be able to withstand not only Canelo's output, his power, but also the fact that he's going to go deep waters at that rhythm?
Sergio, one of the questions that I'm going to have come fight night is what's kind of going through the mind of Jaime Munguia as he's in the locker room, as he's in the ring. You know, we've seen Canelo incredibly relaxed in these types of moments. We've seen him sleeping on a couch at one point in one of these types of moments. So there's no rattling Canelo Álvarez in these situations. What can Munguia do to prepare for this type of opportunity?
He's already prepared himself. He's had over 40 fights. He's already been in the limelight. He's made a boatload.
Not this kind of limelight.
Boatload of money. Now, Look, a fighter prepares for the biggest fights possible. Now, you don't know how you're going to react until you're under the bright lights, but to get there is an accomplishment already. To make that kind of money is an accomplishment already. To be fighting for history, all 4 of the belts, undisputed. 2 Mexicans have never done that. This is a weight class that's always been too big. Not anymore. Si se puede. In a lot of ways, a lot has been accomplished. Now, all that's needed is to go out there and fight. That's the easiest thing for fighters.
Oof, I had a little something to say. I remember when we had a chance to speak to somebody like Sugar Ray Leonard, that he was very keen on saying it's very difficult to wake up in the morning when you're sleeping on silk sheets. And this is now the case of Jaime Munguia. Not only that, but he's also a dad.
You cannibalized Marvin Hagler on that.
Yeah,
Oh, was it Marvin Hagler? I'm sorry. I apologize. Because it was actually Leonard who said it to me one time. So he was quoting Marvin Hagler. But the truth of the matter is, this is Munguia's position now. He's making money. He's now a newly dad. As a matter of fact, the baby's here. I know his life has changed. Canelo has been on that train for a while. How will that affect him? I want to know that. So that is a very clear question that I want to see what happens fight night.
All right, well, Canelo Álvarez and Jaime Munguia will get into the ring on May 4th in Las Vegas. 2 weeks earlier in New York, big battle in the junior welterweight division. Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia live on DAZN Worldwide.
We had great fights in the amateur, no doubt. We need to fight. Hey, we're good fighters. Let's fight.
Live on DAZN Worldwide, April 20th. Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia.
These two have been going back and forth since the amateur days.
2 generational talents, the world at their feet.
Let's make the fight happen now.
This one is going to be a grudge match.
Set to ignite. Devin the Dream Haney, living the dream. Multiple world champion, undefeated.
I am the man. It's time for me to show the world how great I really am.
Ryan Garcia, lightning fast, explosive, unmissable, going all in.
This is the year I shocked the world.
A world championship is on the line, but only one can wear the crown.
This is something that comes along every now and then in generation. I'm telling you, it's special.
This one counts. Live on DAZN Worldwide, April 20th.
You want some real fight? You can fight me.
Well, I'm ready for April 20th. Barclays Center in New York, Devin Haney against Ryan Garcia. Though 2 weeks later, we'll be in Las Vegas for Canelo Álvarez against Jaime Munguia. Before we get out of here, guys, got to get an early prediction from you. Sergio, we'll start with you.
It's going to be a good old Mexican standoff, and there's only going to be one hombre standing, Canelo Álvarez in 9.
Claudia?
I'd say Canelo, he's going the distance by points by a hair.
All right, I'm going to take Munguia, but no, I can't bet.
No se puede.
I can't bet against Canelo Álvarez. Canelo Álvarez by 6th round knockout, but it's going to be a terrific fight as long as it lasts. For Sergio Mora, Claudia Trejos, I'm Chris Mannix. Make sure you check out all the action live on DAZN over the next couple of months, and we'll see you May 4th in Las Vegas.
Live on DAZN Worldwide, May 18th. The fight of the century. Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Tyson Fury looks to reign as king of the division. But Alexander Usyk is undefeated and coming for the crown. For the first time in over 20 years, all the belts are on the line. Ring of Fire, live on DAZN Worldwide, May 18th.